if there's anxiety, there's medication, and if there's medication, there's money to be made. It's simple as that.
Don't fix anxiety. And then maybe we live longer, but we live longer sick because they drag us out. No one gets cured.
No, not on MI5. So if you went to MI5 in the 90s or whatever, and you just told them, imagine this, right? Imagine everyone is going to pay a monthly fee to have a device, and all they're going to do on the device is tell you exactly what they think about things, exactly where they live, exactly where they're going on a holiday. It's a dream device, isn't it? You're going to get people to pay to surveil themselves. Look, it's an intelligence system's dream, isn't it? It's an absolute dream for them. They love it.
They get the anxiety and the panic attack get triggered just by thought. Why if nobody likes me? Anxiety through, and they actually get panic attacks, and it's bad. It's a pandemic about it.
I'm not talking twaddle.
Twaddle, yeah. It's brain gymnastics you're doing with me. Do you know what I mean? So,
or using really smart words, hoping that they're the correct, the correct one.
Yeah, I've got ChatGPT.
That's called shooting in the breeze. Yeah, no, don't do that. Shooting in the breeze.
So yeah, welcome. Tell me about you growing up in South Manchester. How was it as a child?
Good, man. Yeah, I'm from a good family. Yeah, man, hard-working family. My mum's a teacher. She teaches children with special needs.
Yeah.
My dad owns a flooring company that we run as a family. I work with him.
Yeah, so
and we've got a few other lads that work for us as well.
Yeah, so you've been a grafter.
I've been a grafter since day one. I went to school and I just remember it must have been 14, 15. I was like, I'm definitely going to be a builder like my dad.
Definitely been a builder.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
You've had to have a taste of different lifestyle before you actually decided, right, it's better off for me to just be a builder and keep my head down and
I love it. I love the freedom.
Yeah,
I love the freedom.
Focus on the training and I mean, you've earned your scars.
Okay, no.
Yeah,
that was mad.
Yeah,
you talking about the
wounds, I've noticed them. Your friend told me the story about that.
18.
How many times they stab you?
5 times.
5 times.
5 times they stabbed me.
Yeah.
Once in the chest, twice in the arm,
and
there across the fingers, and once in the hip.
Right, so
it's my own fault. I don't even blame the person.
Yeah.
I don't have any issue with him at all.
Yeah,
I thought I was a little bad man.
Yeah.
And then I met a little bad man.
Yeah.
And I got stabbed. And it's simple as that. And I wasn't that person. And it was in a weird way, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah.
Knock you back on track a little bit.
Yeah, it just made me realise it was like, no, I'm from a good family. I go on holidays and that. My mum and dad are together. Who the fuck do I think I am? Being involved with people like this.
You don't need it. Do you know what I mean? Because life is very fragile and everybody can have a bad day one day.
Yeah.
And just waste your life for no reason. So obviously... Take the advice.
Yeah. That's it. You hang around dogs and you'll catch fleas. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was a bad imposter as well. I'm not that guy at all, but just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
There was a lad who was game as fuck, and here we are.
Done what you had to do.
I'm all right. I think as long as I stay in shape, it won't look bad. I feel like I can pull off like an action man kind of. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I've been like I said, I've been impressed with your stories. I know that you're a proper grafter. You train hard, and you read a lot. You even play piano, don't you? You've sent me that.
I do. I play a few instruments and that.
Yeah. You see, so you won't think.
I'm obsessive. That's what I am. I'm an obsessive person. I remember. So I played the guitar. And I actually went to music college for a year, and I played the guitar, but it was in lockdown. When I was in lockdown, we had this keyboard, and because I was bored as anything in lockdown, I think I played it for like 4 or 5 hours a night.
So that's when you learned?
Yeah, and that's when I learned. I didn't learn any notes or anything. I just kept, and then I was like, oh, right, okay. And then I started remembering the sounds, and I'd remember, and I'd go, right, that shape goes with that shape. It's hard to explain, like, the shapes go together, and then once you learn so many of them, you're like, you can hear someone speak, and you're like, oh, that's that note, and then you could just play anything you think.
Right, so you figured it out by ear.
Yeah, I did. I honestly, I couldn't tell you where one note is on the piano, but I sent you a video, didn't I? I can play it.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. I tried it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I failed at it. I
Nah,
tried.
it's honestly, it's just tight. If you do something for 4 hours a day for 2
Consistent,
years, and
yeah.
I'm talking at 365 days for times 2 for 4 hours a day, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So you imagine someone plays for 45 minutes a day.
Yeah.
You know, they might have been doing it 7 years, but I'm light years ahead of them with the amount of hours that I've done it, you know.
And your obsessive
Way
of wanting to learn.
Crazy. Not even just wanting to learn, like I just get obsessed with things.
Yeah,
like
so
I'm in a
that's good.
Star Wars phase at the moment. Watching all the old Star Wars movies. I'm like the biggest Star Wars geek on earth.
Oh, yeah.
I am at the moment, but
Yeah.
I'll be a geek on something else at the moment.
Yeah,
but,
whenever your focus shifts.
Yeah, I'm learning about like midi-chlorians.
What's midi-chlorians?
The microscopic bacteria that gives the Jedi the Force.
Right. Do you know the story?
That's what I'm talking about.
Do you know the story of the Plague Doctor?
Fucking Star... No, I don't. Oh, yeah. Is it to do with like Assassin's Creed times, is it not?
No. The Plague Doctor used to wear that mask.
Right.
You know, when the bubonic plague was going on in the 5th century or
Was
something.
it meant to look like a bird or something? Was it?
No. In the beak, they used to put sweet smelling herbs because they believed that the virus, the plague, was transmitted through the air,
Right.
through something called
So
miasma.
what if the plague is it hovering over you?
Yeah. So
Right.
the modern plague, I believe, for you to be protected against the modern plague, you put nice sweet smelling herbs in it, spray some aftershave in it, and then when you want to watch the news and everything, I believe the modern social plague is being transmitted through bullshit. so you don't smell the bullshit in the air.
No.
You put your plague doctor and he protected.
Right.
So-
Okay.
To protect you from the bullshit that's going on in the news, in the media, in the world right now, you need the plague doctor to get plague doctor mask to protect
Right,
you
you're gonna
against
speak
it.
truth.
Yeah, so yes, and he can see the things for what they are, other than getting distracted by the bullshit that's in the air.
And what do you mean by the bullshit? Like people's inclination to speak on matters for their own self-gain? Or
Bullshit is everything. You just, I'm not going to go into it too much. You know, everything's just bullshit now. It's hard to take everything for what it is. So for you to see things for what they are,
like in the media and stuff
in the
like
media, it's just everything's just a full show. So for you to step back and analyze.
It's crazy. Have you ever done this? I've got one of them dodgy fire sticks, so I've got every program on Earth, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they're illegal, but yeah.
Fuck them. Yeah, that was a joke anyway. I don't. But hypothetically, if I did have a dodgy fire stick,
you got a fire stick.
yeah, I've got a fire. Yeah, and I've got. So all you need to do, right, and it's hilarious, is if something happens in the world, right, you go on Fox News and then CNN. Right, and it's a completely different. I'm trying to think of an example now, but like especially when Donald Trump was like the president, like it'd go like Fox News would be saying Donald Trump has met Kim Jong-un. And created peace in so many years with North Korea, and then you go on CNN and it'd just be about Donald Trump is racist, and it was just a complete, and it's just crazy. And I think that's what you're talking about with the bullshit.
The bullshit, yeah. And there's a lot more other ones, but like I said, I need more than one podcast to explain every single bullshit that there is out there. So I'll let the viewers decide for themselves what the bullshit is. Well, that's the main ideology behind bringing the plague doctor. We believe the social plague is transmitted through loads of bullshit in the air, and we needed the mask to protect us against it.
Yeah, 100%.
So the reason I created this podcast is to let people speak more than just me saying whatever. So I want people to tell me what they think the bullshit is, not just me putting in your head.
How are they going to say it?
So what do you think is one of the main things that is plaguing the society right now?
I feel like people being bullied into not having an individual opinion through the fear of the mob on social media to give you shit. And it's even now not a people just avoiding talking about things or sharing things or perpetuating an idea. People are now purposefully going with the crowd on greater world issues or ideas that actually affect the world and actually affect culture, and they're just going along with it. I think that's a major issue.
Just to be included and to be part of a group.
Yeah, like you're not even allowed to question anything. You're not even allowed to question anything.
we're meant to be living in a free society.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech, but you can't really use that because obviously if he doesn't agree with our gender or whatever's going on, then
it's typical as well. It's like people go, I'm offended, and you go, what are you offended by? And they go, well, this thing that you said, and you go, but is that something that you care about? And they go, yeah. And go, well, that's convenient, isn't it?
Yeah,
because I could say 1,000 things about
I care about.
Yeah, I could say 1,000 things that were negative towards a topic, but it's only the topic you care about that you're going to get offended by.
Yeah.
So how the fuck can I live my life
so
that
how
way?
how we going to go back and forth?
Yeah, exactly.
With our freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You get your say, I get mine. I don't get offended by your points.
When did offended become a thing that mattered?
It's
anyway?
not being called offended.
Yeah.
You're making them feel unsafe now.
Right. Okay. So why are you
soon as
unsafe
you
if you're offended?
Because they started with getting offended, but now we got to a point where people, if you don't agree with their views, I feel unsafe being around you because you got these views.
Yeah.
So
I know,
if you not really agreeing with their views, you're making them feel unsafe.
Yeah, well, it's
So
like
it's a strong word to use constantly.
it is, but it's also just I'm offended by that.
You're offended.
Yeah.
They feel unsafe.
I know. Well,
The
what
word
is it?
is too strong to be used and have freedom of speech and normal debates, and you saying your opinion and someone else saying their opinion because it just doesn't work.
Yeah, well,
anymore.
it's like I seen something and it was about the UK government have implemented a law that they're now going to tell you exactly how many calories are on a meal or something that you buy from a takeaway, and then people have come out and said, "Oh, well, that's a hate crime towards me because I have an eating disorder, and my eating disorder means that them calories." But it's like people can't fucking eat. Yeah. There's people in the world now that can't fucking eat. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Get a fucking grip. You've got an eating... Right, okay. I'm sure it's a bad thing. There's people starving now, and you can see the ribs through the skin. There's bigger issues than your fucking little thing now. All it is a bit of calories on something.
You're only going to get it in Western society when life's been easy for the last 20, 30 years, and everything's been... But soon, this will change. The harder you'll get, the stronger the people will become again.
Yeah, that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Have you heard of that book?
I've read it, yeah, I've read it. Yeah.
Have you read it? Right.
My dad was the poor dad.
Yeah, so what is it? Like poor men create... What is it? Poor men create strong men create rich men create weak men.
Yeah, and then the other way around. Something similar. Yeah. It's always been like this, and it's always going to be just the way people become when they become comfortable. Comfort creates weakness.
I know, but that's the thing. It's like if you're sat in your life and you're worried about being offended, you are in a fucking amazing position on this earth right now. If you're just worried about your feelings, right? If you're just fully worried about, these tiny little things, your life is fucking great. You've got a great life. There's people who can't eat. Yeah. There's people in war all across the world at the moment. It's 2020. It's crazy for war.
They should
people
be
are dying and you're offended. Get the fuck out of it.
They should be suffering with anxiety when they got bombs flying over there. That's real fight or flight situation.
I know, and that's weird because you hear it in the rhetoric of when you speak to someone who was in the war. Like I remember my great granddad. I had to interview him for school, and he was because he lived in the wartime, and I think he was 17, 18 or something, my great granddad, during World War II. And it's the rhetoric of him. You go, what was it like? And you go, oh, it weren't too great. And you go, I love it how low key they were. Everything was just,
it is what it is. What can you do?
That weren't great. It's like, no. You watch people get shot and bombed, and you go with, it wasn't too good that. And now you've got people who are just saying all these flamboyant kind of things towards a tiny little issue of being offended.
Feeling unsafe because someone has an opinion.
Yeah, imagine being in them trenches and just going, tough day at work. It's rock hard work. They were great work there. Oh,
it's gonna get harder before it gets better for the feelings, because that's what you create. You create weakness. Fight or flight is created when you're in danger in a natural environment. Yeah. When you don't have any action in your life where triggers that naturally,
and it's being bred now. Look at a wolf, and look at structured society turned a wolf into a pug. Look at little pug, and that's what we're dealing with now. We've got generations before us. We weren't wolves. We're probably like German shepherds. Now these kids they're just these little pugs. They're just.
I'm scared to death. Me, if World War goes. I mean, I'm not scared because I'm ready for it. But I mean.
What do you mean you're ready for it?
But I'm worried about all if he spreads west with all this
different kind
young
of war
generation
now.
that they feel unsafe by opinions.
Yeah, but it's different kind of war.
How are we going to go to war, bro?
No, but it's different kind of war now. They'll have these little gamers. In Las Vegas, they have it. A guy just goes out on the computer and just presses buttons, and he's just bombing people from drones. That's what it's like now. The technology of the West now, they don't need soldiers the way
that
they were.
Every day for the safety of everyone, and let's hope everything's gonna be all right. Because I'm seeing what happens in Israel and Palestine, and it's upsetting.
It's absolutely.
I don't watch the news anymore.
I can't believe it. You know, I'm sure that there's religious and historical relevance to why they care about this land so much. But it's like people were making spaceships in 1960 and we were going to the moon, and there's people killing each other over sand. What on earth is going on? It's absolutely mental. The kids are dying. Yeah, it's principles and territory in it as well.
Principles, territory. I'm not a war expert, so I'm not going to comment on any historical war reasons. What I'm not happy with is to see children and women dying on front line when the law of war is to take the women and the children out of the fighting zone and then have it out like.
And Israel go. It's a tricky one because
they're both sneaky. So I wouldn't support any that kills anything like. So I don't want any involvement or any support. I don't support none of the sides.
No, that's it. And I'm not going to support.
They're killing young children on both sides. As soon as that happens, they're not fighting fair. Both. I mean, I'm not a war expert. I'm not really studied all this, so I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to look like an idiot. All I know is that kids are dying, and if they want to have war, get the kids out like they did in Ukraine. They make convoys. There've been a few contradictions, but they got the kids and the women out of the zone, and they stay there, and they're fighting for their country in Ukraine. But in here is a whole different story. Hopefully, some agreements will come in place where they're gonna create some safety for the children. And I'm not watching the news anymore. I'm done.
No,
I'm done. I refuse to watch it.
It's crazy. I can't believe all the people posting about it.
Because I can't do nothing about it, and I'm worthless watching it, and I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, but it's like people. It's like I can't wrap my head around people are posting about it and talking about the atrocities and stuff like that, and it's like. How can you talk about I'm not side Israel or Palestine. It's nothing to do with me. I'm from Manchester and I work with my old man. Yeah, that's all I do. I don't know anything, but all I do know is that you people are going on their iPhones that is powered by lithium that the Americans stole from Afghanistan and killed children and murdered people over, right? And then they're wearing Nike trainers or designer clothing, right? Which is made in sweatshops, right? Which is exploitation of children, right? They might wear Hugo Boss, which Hugo Boss were making the Nazi uniforms, right? With Jewish slaves making them, right? And they're going to talk about all these greater world issues and then start speaking down on a country like Israel. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's the biggest hypocrites I've ever met in my life. It's absolutely mental.
You've got a pandemic. You've got the uneducated virologists that are coming on Facebook and talking about how they know everything about viruses. You've got a war in Ukraine. You had all these war experts coming out and knowing everything as what's going on there. Nowadays, everybody comes on and know everything. We will never know enough for us to be debating about it. That's why the only thing I'm debating and I'm advocating for is the safety of the children and the women.
It's like you're
dying for no reason.
Of course, but it's like, you work in Costa, you're in overdraft and you live with the mum. Why the fuck are you a world diplomat now trying to save the world? Get a fucking grip. Get back to work and making them brews. Go to the
Navy. Join the Navy if you want to.
That's if you care so much and you care about oppression, then get rid of your car because that was stolen oil and children were murdered over it. Throw your phone away because that's stolen lithium and children were murdered for it. Children made them fucking clothes that you're wearing from Nike. Get rid of all that then if you care, but they don't care. They just want to talk shit and jump on the bandwagon of it. And I just want to say now off the top, I think it is disgusting, all them children in Palestine that died. You know, I think 1,500 children died in one day.
Yeah,
1,500 in one day. That is fucking mental.
It made me cry the other day on watching the news. I can't. I'm too soft when it comes to children.
No,
I can't be watching that. None of them will ever get my support. I will never support either other side as long as they don't change the cause of it. And the cause of it is just fight for your freedom, for your rights, or leave the children alone. Them children are born in there with.
Well, that's it. The argument is, you know, Palestine, you know, Gaza is controlled by Israel. Yeah. So they've done a terrorist attack, and some of the stories of what they do, we won't get into it because it's. Yeah. But we know some of the stories. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. But Hamas is completely different to young kids in a hospital. Yeah. You know, so it's like Israel wants to call it collateral damage, but I don't understand that it needs to be done differently. You know, if you want to kill terrorists and terrorists have kidnapped your people and took them back and done atrocious things, that's fine. But, you know, you can't just say, oh, collateral damage when you're killing thousands of children in a day. Like thousands as plural children in a day.
Yeah, you can't do that because
that's mental.
If you do eye for an eye, the whole world would be blind.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly.
We'll just leave it at that. Leave the children alone.
Teacher.
Leave the children, get the women and the kids out the front line.
Shouldn't make a Pink Floyd joke towards that.
Actually. Take them children and the women out the front line and have it out. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not supporting no sides.
Oh, don't. It couldn't
before the children are safe.
I don't know. I'm not educated on the matter. I'm sure
that's what I'm saying.
It'd be better to have a Jewish lad, a Muslim lad that, you know, dish shit out.
You don't need to be educated to know that you need to leave children alone on both sides.
No, yeah, that goes without saying.
Since all wars, I know a bit of history about. I know, obviously, back in the medieval time, they used to raid villages and kill women and children.
Yeah, rape and pillage.
Yeah, but then they've done the law of war, where the women and children, they have to be taken out of the front line, and then that's how you have a war. You don't kill civilians. But they've been killing loads of civilians.
I think it is a bit tricky with them, though, because I think the actual Hamas... They operate in a series of caves underneath, like tunnels underneath, like the hospital. Like they purposely put themselves around civilians. But
that's a hard. That's what I mean. There's no room for us to discuss about it because we will never know. I mean, we'll just leave that for them to figure out. We have our own issues to worry about. We have to worry about our own issues at the moment that we can control, like things that there are in our control, other than just talking about wars and so. Because after this war is going to finish, or how long this is going to go for, they'll be moving to. Since I was a kid, there was always a new war started somewhere. So we've been desensitized a bit now. So that's
sorry.
I'm getting a bit emotional now because I'm thinking about it. I just want to end it with the wars because so we need to focus on the things that is in our society that we can control or we can advise young men to do, and focus on work and focus on being disciplined and figure out the benefits of being disciplined and focused and not waste a lot of time unnecessarily. Not waste a lot of time unnecessarily being distracted by things that are not in their control. So that's what we need to teach the people in our society to bring back the stronger society that we once used to, because at the moment everyone's dead weak, everyone's depressed, everyone's anxious, everyone's on tablets, prescribed medication, and we're becoming weaker and weaker every day. So what I'm advocating for is putting that strength back into the newer generation and encouraging them to be a bit more disciplined. It's not that I'm the most disciplined guy, but I do fight my demons every day.
But discipline also comes with the way that you approach things, and I feel like the approach towards everything in society right now is just really pessimistic. It's really negative. Everything's really this is this is that. You know, there's no positive like look towards. There's no honor in just being a builder and going, I'm a builder. Yeah, and that's what I do, and I support my family, and I go to work, and that's it. Everyone wants to be a fucking millionaire now. Everyone wants to be a rapper. Everyone wants to, you look on your phone. It must be to me, it's not disheartening, but I can understand why for a lot of people, no one's had access to a little rectangle in the hand and look at it and you see some guy with a fucking Ferrari. And you're on a building site, it's 7 a.m. You don't want to be there. You've got your can of Monster. You're looking at a rectangle and there's a guy with 3 supermodels with a fucking Ferrari and a rectangle in your hand. That must affect people in society in a way where it's like, what's the fucking point?
It keeps them distracted from exercising, from doing things that connect him with real life.
I know, and that's how I thought about this. The only if you watch old sci-fi movies, you imagine this dystopian city where it's raining and there's these massive billboards with like colors and lights over it, and it's so weird because the actual reality of it is you pay nearly between £30 and £50 a month on the billboard, and you purposely look at it yourself. You look at it. It wasn't these big projections and flying cars. It's just a billboard, and you just go and flick through the billboard in your hand. It's crazy.
That's when you think they try to keep you distracted with this, with that. The actual distraction is you got a super computer in your hand that you could read and learn so much of it other than just being distracted, flicking and arguing on comment section with people, reading different facts about different things, and then next week there'll be a contradictory fact that will collapse everything that you've been thinking is factual. So you're back to square one.
But it's the beauty of it as well. Like if you imagine if you went back to like
it's endless.
If you went back to the 80s now and you said to like intelligence companies and like say, is it MI? Which one's the one that's real? I know James
in England.
Bond. Yeah, I know
MI5 in England.
Is that the real one? MI6 is James Bond's bullshit one, and it's MI5. So if you went to MI5 in the 90s or whatever, and you just told them, all right, imagine this, right? Imagine everyone is going to pay a monthly fee to have a device, and all they're going to do on the device is tell you exactly what they think about things, exactly where they live, exactly where they're going on a holiday. It's a dream device, isn't it? You're going to get people to pay to surveil themselves. Look at kids on Snapchat. They're filming everything that you're doing. It's an intelligence system's dream, isn't it? It's an absolute dream for them. They love it.
And we're just consumers. What with them scrolling through, they're just selling you adverts, and you're just a buyer, and they target you to buy something. Do you know what I mean? They know your likes, they know your data, they know what you like, what you look at. Have you not scrolled through your phone sometimes and you go through Instagram and you just, a pop-up ad comes with exactly what you need? I need to buy some headphones. And you're scrolling through things, just a pop-up ad.
So what are you saying there that you think
they
that
listen to you when you talk, normal.
Right. Well, if Siri can pick up keywords, it wouldn't surprise me that an algorithm
as you're scrolling, they target you and showed you a pop-up ad exactly what you've been looking to buy.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And another beauty with, it's not, now you got all the music and you don't have DVDs and you don't have CD players, record players anymore. When you used to buy a record and you used to go home with it, clean the whole house, everything quiet, go in your room.
Lighting, incense.
Only 2 ambient lights.
Yeah.
You were putting that record, or whether it was a CD or actual record, put it on, and you listen to every single song on it. And you hear every sound. Because you can't just flick for 100 songs. You only got 10 songs.
And the sound's different as well, because vinyl is kind of the sound equivalent of using, is it tape? Film. Where they use film.
Yeah.
So vinyl is the equivalent for sound of film. If you actually listen to a vinyl record.
Yeah, have a
of course, but when you listen to a vinyl record through nice speakers, the actual quality of the sound in comparison to digital music, it's nowhere near.
Well, it sounds better to you because you appreciate it more, because you've got only 10 songs to enjoy. And
you've got to listen to it. You're not fucking about with the needle, are you?
I don't like this one. You don't have option of 1,000 songs to flick through.
So you see the album as like a piece of art.
You've been waiting for the album to come out to enjoy it and appreciate every song and listen to it and feel. Now you don't get to sit and feel the music the same because you're flicking through them. Bam, bam, I don't like this. But if it don't impress you in the first 5 seconds, you're flicking through them. And that's where the anxiety and the impatience comes with people. People are impatient to wait in the queue now because they used to just skipping on phone, bam, swapping, texting, going, everything's quick. Now you got to wait in a queue
Yeah,
where you
well,
can't
it's like
skip
all
or
they know
fast
is
forward.
all they know is instantaneous.
Anxiety kicks in.
Yeah.
They don't use the word nervous anymore. Have you heard anyone using the word nervous?
No, I've not actually. No.
Anxiety is through the roof.
I've got anxiety.
Anxiety.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Which you can get medication for that.
Back in the day,
can't get medication for nervousness.
back in the day, you had the job interview.
Yeah.
I think I've been nervous. I've got a job interview.
Yeah.
No anxiety.
Yeah.
Now everyone's anxiety is through the roof.
Yeah.
Kids' mum just phoned me. Anxiety is through the roof. Should I answer?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everything's anxiety, and it's used so much. It's actually in your head now.
Yeah, because if you've got anxiety, there's medication for it, and
you don't need medication. You need to expose yourself.
What I mean is, if there's anxiety, there's medication, and if there's medication, there's money to be made. It's simple as that.
They don't fix anxiety.
There's no nervousness pills, is there? That was a pint, wasn't it? Oh, a bit nervous. I love a pint.
Yeah.
I love a pint.
No one uses the word, so the words get. That's it. Anxiety is a thing now, and there's a cure. But they don't tell you about exposure therapy. They don't tell you about putting yourself in uncomfortable situations now and again to trigger them senses to get that fight or flight situation in real. Obviously, some of us do at work or being exposed to.
But it's also like taking it
in real life. But if you don't, that gets triggered by thought alone.
Yeah, it's also you can't let it take over you. You can't let these feel. If you're anxious or something like that, you have anxiety or something like that. If you make a big deal of something, it'll become a big deal of it. You conceptualize it in your mind. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's the way that people approach things, and it's the way you've been taught. If you've been taught that anxiety is really important, and being anxious is a really big deal, and it's a really bad situation to be. Oh, he's anxious, he might panic. Yeah. Then you're gonna treat it that way. You're gonna have the same response. So you know what I mean? It's like the hot stove. Mm-hmm. You burn your hand once, and then it's hot. That stove's hot. It's the same thing. It's like people just say, "Get a fucking grip. You're a bit nervous. Come on,
give your head a wobble."
Yeah.
But once this condition gets out of hand, and your senses that trigger fight or flight become so sensitive. Anxiety is a real issue when people have not been exposed to real life, like rough and tumble, playing hard all day outside, like kids used to play back, with no gadget, being exposed to climbing fences, they've been soft enough, kept in a bubble. Their senses, they're too weak, and they get their anxiety and the panic attack get triggered just by thought. Why if nobody likes me? Anxiety through, and they actually get panic attacks, and it's bad. It's a pandemic about it.
I know this is across varied issues. So my girlfriend's got allergies, and her brother does as well. They've got allergies. Allergies is a new didn't exist. Did you know this?
No.
Being allergic to something didn't exist. Like
it's an inflammatory.
It's an inflammatory response. But they reckon so nobody has allergies in Africa.
Yeah.
No one's allergic to anything in Africa or Asia, in all these places. That's true. Look that up. The allergies only exist in the West. Yeah. And the reason is because everything's too certain people around don't get the antibodies from bacteria because there's none anywhere. Say you've got a really clean one, look it up. It only exists in the West. It's next to zero in third world countries. Does that say otherwise?
Yeah. People can get allergies in Africa, but it's not that common.
Yeah, but what not that common meaning like it's a 0.01% chance of you get. But here, allergies are like going through the roof now. I've met multiple people with allergies. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And it's almost like the physical representation of what's going on with the brain as well. Is like everything's too easy, so people's brains are getting, people are getting mental health.
All the triggers,
everything's too clean. You're getting allergies. Everyone's too
and everyone's a hypochondriac.
Yeah,
you can't eat nothing. Everything you eat, there's a contradiction. So that's bad.
Yeah.
You can't drink milk now. Milk's mucus is bad.
What? Milk's not bad for you, is it? Milk.
There's groups of people say milk's not good for you.
That's absolutely.
There's groups of people. They only eat red meat.
Right.
They call keto diets, and they think it's the best thing since
the carnivore diet. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Some people said meat is bad for you, and everybody's like they're anxious and overthinking. What's right? What's wrong? What can I eat? What can I not? And they become panicking about their diets and their everything. And no one's living any longer than, do you know what I mean? We still have a lifespan of 80 years or whatever, the same as...
Yeah, too long.
And
yeah.
then maybe we live longer, but we live longer sick because they drag us out. No one gets cured.
No, honestly, if I get to... I've seen 90-year-olds. I've seen 90-year-olds and... you know, maybe I'll have a different point of view when I'm 90, but
if you make
I don't want to live another 40 years past that. That's enough, I think. If you're going to be 90, I don't want to live to 100. You know, like
I don't want to drag myself around.
If you could live to 130,
years,
would you?
Do you know what I mean?
Would you live to 130 if you could?
If I'm not in pain and not struggling, yeah. If I'm struggling,
that means you're old for like, you know, say what would you consider old? Over 75?
I don't want to be 80? A burden on my family and stuff. I might as well just done my duty.
No, I do not want to be...
society and the world and go.
Yeah.
Other than just be there, a burden on a chair.
Yeah.
People hand feed you and stuff and don't remember their names and stuff. It's just not...
That. I'll take 90.
I'll take
80, 90. If you offered me that. If you offered me 150, I'd tell you to fuck off. I'm not living to 150. There's no chance.
I'm taking the train whenever I'm useless.
Yeah.
And then a burden to people around me. I'd rather take the train and go. I'm seeing a bit. I've done my duties in society. I think we're coming close to the finishing time.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you. I think I'm going to have you again in the near future. We can have some different conversations. See how maybe you take off your sports career and then we'll see you on the spotlight soon.
Yeah. Let's do it. No, we need to get some more episodes in, man. I want to keep coming back. I like the fact that you train a lot and you focused. And every time I speak to you, either working or you training, and if you start at this young age now and you keep it consistent, I think you're a good example to young people your age, and that's the reason why I want to talk more to younger people. Other than old people keep telling you. Yeah, we're not all fucked. There's a lot. I know that. There's a lot of us that are. You know, we come across quiet, but the only reason why we're coming across quiet is because we're getting on with it. You only hear about the idiots, you know, and there's plenty of them, and there is a social
and they're loud,
very loud. But you know, there's a lot of people there getting stuck in now, grafting, going. That's what I mean,
and we want to promote that other than promoting idiots.
Yeah.
We want to. No one's perfect. We've been idiots, but we just want to promote.
Yeah, 100%.
Things that can be beneficial to you, and you looking back in a few years' time, and be happy that you've took the right path early. Right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Let's see what outro we can have.
Well, let me hear it.
We're going to sleep now.
Bedtime.